Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Death Metal Batcycle. This is the second vehicle that McFarlane has made in the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. This vehicle is intended to go with the Death Metal Batman, who's actually not out yet, but should be dropping pretty much any day now. So, I realized this thing was dropping at Target. They were street dated for January 10th. I read that on Instagram at different various websites. So I waited until midnight hit on the 10th, went to Target.com, picked my local Target store. It said they had 2 of these in stock. And I'm the kind of guy that likes to get 2 of the vehicles, one to keep unopened and one to open. Tried to select 2 of them. It only let you select one. I believe that's Target's way of combating bots buying everything up. So I went ahead and selected one, purchased at store in one order, and then I did in the other one to purchase at store in another order. It said my local Target had 2 of them. And of course, the next day comes around, I get an email saying they didn't have the item. I get another email saying they didn't have the item. But since they messed up, they gave me the option to ship it from their website to home for free, 2-day shipping. So I selected that option, and here it is. This thing looks really cool, very detailed. Not exactly a practical bat vehicle, as it's a giant bat skeleton wrapped around a motorcycle. Definitely has a cool factor, but not the traditional, practical Batman armory factor. So let's go check out the packaging here. At the front, DC Multiverse Batcycle, ages 12 plus. You can see it through the window, looking great. At the top, Dark Knight's Death Metal, McFarlane Toys. One side here, Death Metal Batcycle. Other side, just says Batcycle. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits and a barcode, in case that helps anybody. On the back, you can see the collector's card showing the Death Metal Batman riding the Batcycle, and a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures to track down. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And like I said before, I did end up getting 2 of these vehicles, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection. This thing costs $25. It's a great value for a 7-inch scale vehicle. This is the second vehicle they made. They made the Bat Raptor back when the initial wave dropped about a year ago, and that thing's still pretty easy to track down. So I imagine this Batcycle will be pretty easy to get in the long run if you're interested. Alright, now that we got this vehicle out of the package, here it is with all of its accessories laid out. And it doesn't come with any traditional accessories or removable parts, except for the collector's card down there. So let's take a look at this Batcycle. This is the Batcycle that the Death Metal Batman used in the comic Dark Knight's Death Metal. It's pretty much a giant bat skeleton on top of a traditional Batcycle. So much detail on this thing. First of all, its giant mouth is holding the front wheel. The wheel's rubber. It does move. The front does rotate. But all the different sculpting and paint details look great. I mean, look at the ear. There's so many different shades in there, and weathering and texture. The eyes are very beady. It's got very impressive looking teeth holding this cycle. Different color variations. You can see some white, some off-white, even some yellowing on there. Very, very nice for the price. This thing is $25. Not bad at all. Going further back, it's got the rib cage, the spines up here, and it's all on top of what appears to be a traditional Batcycle. The giant exhaust, the pedals, all the different machine components inside. It's got the seat there. At the back, it's got another wheel, also rubber, can also move. It does have a Batman logo on the other side. This thing is very cool. I can see so many different Batman logos here, another one here. Very, very cool. Not at all a traditional Batcycle, but a very cool piece nonetheless. Now let's take a quick look at this collector's card. This looks to be the Death Metal Batman riding on the Death Metal Batcycle, and it looks like he's coming out of the Batman Who Laughs mouth. So this card is from Dark Knight's Death Metal #1. as you can see on the back. Quick little description, if anyone wants to read that, go ahead and pause now. It's from Dark Knight's Death Metal #1 from 2020. And I will say, I have all 5 cover variations of Dark Knight's Death Metal #1, and I don't actually know where this image is from. I looked through the entire book and there's no panel with this image. So I do see the actual Batcycle, as you can see here, but I couldn't find that image anywhere in the books. Just a little bit interesting. And one glaring difference I noticed between the source material and this vehicle: in the book, it's got this red tongue on top of the front wheel here, and the vehicle obviously does not have that. I could see it being an issue, perhaps getting in the way and preventing the wheel from turning, but just something I noticed. Now that we've taken a pretty quick look at this vehicle, next let's check out its measurements. So, it's about 11 inches long, and from the bottom to its tallest point, about 4.75 inches tall. Now let's check out its action features. So, both the wheels, they're made of rubber. They can both spin, the front and the back. The front can rotate from side to side, and then it's got these pedals, which are adjustable. It's about the only things this bike actually does, besides looks totally badass. Now I want to show a few McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that I think look pretty cool on this bike. Obviously it's intended for the Death Metal Batman, but I don't have him yet. Should get him soon. But here's the Dark Knight's Metal Rebirth Batman on this thing. Fits on it great. Feet on the pedals, handles on the handlebars, and it really kind of suits his personality to a point. Mean, beat up, angry looking Batman. Here's a Flashpoint Batman riding on this Batcycle. Here's the Grim Knight riding this thing. And finally, here's the Red Hood riding this crazy Batcycle. Here's this Batcycle docked in the Batcave, ready to be deployed. Here's Batman driving this bike through the streets of Gotham. He's driving by the arcade, and possibly even taking this thing to Arkham Asylum. Here it is in the streets of Gotham, next to one of the largest McFarlane Batman figures. And Batman just relaxing on the side of the bike. Here's a biker gang checking out Batman's ride. They tell him, "Nice hog." "It's a bat, not a hog." Now let's check this thing out, compared with some other Batman vehicles. We'll start off with the only other McFarlane Batman vehicle they've made so far, and then we'll check it out with a bunch of other Batcycles, and then a bunch of other Batman vehicles at the 1/12 scale. Here it is, next to the Bat-Raptor. The Bat-Raptor was the first McFarlane DC Multiverse vehicle they made. It came out with the first wave of figures. These vehicles both cost $24.99, and looking at the two of them side by side, the Bat-Raptor is a much better value, much better bang for your buck. I personally prefer the Bat-Raptor as a more traditional Bat vehicle. I can use it in a ton more scenarios. This Death Metal Batcycle is considerably more detailed, but it's smaller and it's very stylized, only for some very specific scenarios. The first Batcycle I thought of when I saw this Death Metal Batcycle is this old Kenner Legends of the Dark Knight Skywing street bike. There's a lot of similarities between these two. This thing can extend its wings and has a launching missile. As you can see, they both have giant bat heads on the front. Very different, but a lot of similarities. Here it is, next to a DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batcycle, of which I got 3 of. One for Batman, one for Robin, and one for Nightwing. These are great additions to the Batman Armory, and they accommodate 7-inch figures fairly well. Then, next to a few Bat Pods from the Dark Knight trilogy, on the left, we've got a Mattel Movie Master Bat Pod, and then to the right of the Death Metal Batcycle, we've got a Mafex Bat Pod, and to the far right, it's an SH Figure Arts Bat Pod. I will say, personally, the Mattel is my favorite one, as the others are very fragile. Here it is, next to a couple of Mattel basic 6-inch scale Batcycles, One of them is from Justice League, and one of them is from the Batman Missions line. Both accommodate the 6-inch scale figures. And now, next to a Hot Wheels 1/12 scale 1966 Batcycle. This came with a sidecar, but it was easily removable with a screwdriver. This is a pretty nice, cool, solid, classic-looking Batcycle. And here, next to a Mattel Batman Brave and the Bold transforming Batcycle. This does not really accommodate the 6 and 7-inch figures very well. Then, next to a Mattel Justice League cartoon Batcycle. This will accommodate only the very smallest 6-inch figures. And here, with a Kenner Dark Knight Collection Batcycle. This is intended for the 5-inch scale, and you can fudge maybe the smallest 6-inch figures on there. And here, next to a DC Collectibles, DC Icons, Burnside Batgirl Batcycle. I actually have the DC Essentials Batgirl on top of the Icons Batcycle, and it works good. This Batcycle is also pretty nice if you want to put Huntress on there because of the purple color. Then, here it is next to a Mezco 1/12 Collective Judge Dredd Lawmaster. I often use this bike for Nightwing. Here it is next to a Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified motorcycle. Because of the color scheme, I like using this for Red Hood. Then, next to a Hasbro Marvel Legends motorcycle that came with Black Widow, and because of its color scheme, I like using it for the Mattel Multiverse Batwoman. And here, next to a Kenner Robin's Redbird cycle from the movie Batman and Robin, I like giving this to my Mattel Multiverse Red Robin. Now let's check it out, next to some other 1/12 scale Batman vehicles, or at least vehicles I use for that purpose. Here it is next to a Spin Masters Batmobile. This is actually intended for the 1/6 scale, 12-inch larger figures, but it works great for the 6 and 7-inch scale. And here it is next to a Mattel Batman Missions Batmobile. This will easily accommodate your 6 and 6.5-inch figures. Then, here it is next to a Mattel Ultimate Radio-Controlled Justice League Batmobile. Now, there have been 3 different sizes of this Batmobile for the movie Justice League made by Mattel, and they all accommodate the 6.5-inch scale figures. This is the largest. Here it is next to a Mattel Multiverse Justice League Batmobile. In my opinion, this is the best scaled and detailed Batmobile from that film by Mattel. This one will also accommodate your 6 and 7-inch scale figures. Mattel also made some basic Batmobiles from Justice League and Batman vs. Superman for the 6-inch scale figures. These are less detailed, but they will hold a 6-inch Batman. And while we're on the subject of Justice League vehicles, here it is next to a Mattel Flying Fox. This Flying Fox came in the Mattel Basic Justice League line. It is for 6-inch scale figures, but the cockpit will only able to be accommodating to the smallest of the 6-inch type figures. And here it is next to the Nightcrawler. This is from the Mattel Justice League Basic Talking Heroes line. It will also accommodate the smaller of the 6-inch scale figures. Here it is next to the amazing DC Direct or DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batmobile. This thing is sleek, this thing is massive, has a 2-seater cockpit, and it will accommodate your 6-inch and the smaller 7-inch figures. And here, next to the DC Direct Batman the Animated Series Batwing, this is a holy grail for Batman collectors. Then, with a Mattel 1966 Batmobile, this will accommodate only the smaller end of 6-inch scale figures. And here, next to a Mattel Batmobile from the line Batman, that was the predecessor to DC Superheroes, which was the predecessor to DC Universe Classics, which was the predecessor to Mattel's Multiverse line, which was what they had right before the license ended. Now to check it out, compared with some action figures from different various companies, to see how this bike fits in both scale and style-wise, and to see which lines will fit on this thing. Here it is with some of its McFarlane brothers. In front of you are 4 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here's a McFarlane toy riding this thing. And here it is with some DST or Diamond Select toys. And here's a Diamond Select toy riding it. Of course it's going to be John Wick. Then here it is next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here's the DC Essentials Batman riding this motorcycle. And here it is, next to some NECA figures. Here's the NECA Batman riding the Batcycle. Works great with his cloth cape. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. Here's a Fiend cruising on this bike. And here, with some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. And here's the Mezco Batman riding this bike. Once again, cloth cape works great. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. Here's the DC Universe Classics Batman on there. With his plastic cape, it doesn't work as well. And here, with some Mafex figures. And here's the Mafex Hush Batman riding on this thing. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here's Wolverine riding the bike. And here it is, with some SH Figure Arts action figures, getting to the smaller end of 6-inch collecting. And here's the SH Figure Arts Justice League Batman on top of this bike. And finally, here it is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. And here's Russ Lord riding the bike. So overall, this bike is very cool. I would say it's badass. The detail is amazing. My biggest complaint, it's not something I can use very often in my action figure world. I would love to get a more traditional Batcycle. I'd almost like to see what people could do if they strip off all the bat bones and perhaps reconstruct this thing. And who knows? I mean, it's a great piece for what it is, but I really hope to see McFarlane tackle some more traditional items. Maybe a Batmobile, hint hint. I think they could do something really cool there. While this guy isn't very practical, he is awesome. The detail is amazing, and it works for so many different purposes. I imagine you could pop a Lobo on this, and it'd look really cool. If I were to rate this thing, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. It is maybe worth a little bit more than that, but as far as my personal enjoyment goes, I would like something a little bit more traditional for my Bat Armory. Don't get me wrong, I have plenty of Batcycles, but I'd love a 7-inch McFarlane version. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.